Good afternoon, everyone. So welcome to DPWH Sorsogon Second District Engineering Office. So today is July 6, 2026, and we have a pre-bid conference for contract ID 26FL0001, Rehabilitation, Major Repair of Permanent Bridges, Banuang Daan Bridge along Bulan Airport Road, Bulan, Sorsogon. And 26FL0033, Construction of Multipurpose Building, Tourism Building, with ground improvement at Barangay Poblacion Norte, Barcelona, Sorsogon. Barangay Poblacion Norte, Barcelona, Sorsogon. So present for today's pre-bid conference are as follows: Joanna C. Calagos, back chairman; Levi Dipur Jr., back vice chair; Cecil Dulisin, back member; Jesalu Alvilla, back member; Pamela Cristal Eduarte, planning representative; Glenn L. Inicio, back secretariat; Nathaniel B. Alegre, back secretariat; and Dian E. Albay, IT representative. So, Madam Chair, meron na po tayong quorum at wala pong contractor na.
Okay, since we have a quorum, this pre-bid conference is now called to order. Our agenda for today as follows. First, basic contract data, requirements of bidding documents, eligibility criteria, documents to be submitted by the bidder, including technical and financial proposals, criteria and procedures for the eligibility check, preliminary examination of bids, detailed evaluation of bids, post-qualification and award, questions, comments from bidders and replies of BAC and other representatives of the procuring entity. Summary of proceedings, including bid bulletins to be issued, common reasons for bidders' disqualification, and other matters. So, to discuss the basic contract data is Engineer Pamela.
Basic contract data for contract ID 26FL0001, contract name Rehabilitation or Major Repair of Permanent Bridges, Banuang Daan Bridge, B00191LZ, along Bulan Airport Road. Contract locations, Bulan, Sorsogon. Approved budget for the contract, 5,762,400 pesos. Source of fund, GAA 2026. Contract duration, 107 calendar days. Predetermined unworkable number of days is 20 calendar days. Cost of bidding documents, 10,000 pesos. Submission of bids scheduled on July 21, 2026 until 10 a.m. Opening of bids, July 21, 2026, immediately after closing receipt of bids. Major category of work, PMWOP. Project description, scope of works. The scope of work for this project includes the replacement of the slope protection structure at the bridge abutment number 2 of Banuang Daan Bridge, B00191LZ. Work covers the removal and reconstruction of the damaged slope protection structure to restore stability and prevent erosion. It also includes the installation of steel sheet piles, reinforcing steel, structural concrete for the pile cap, and grouted riprap, as well as earthworks such as excavation and embankment from approved borrow materials. Lastly, the construction of temporary craneway and cover dam are incorporated to facilitate the activities within the work area. Objective: to ensure safety of motorists and pedestrians, prevent further erosion and structural damage, and extend the service life of the bridge as part of the national road network. Here are the geotagged photos. The environmental clearance, the necessary certifications such as the certificate of validation, certification for the CMBD, and the certificate of compliance, complying with the guidelines from the department, the material prices, and equipment rental rates. Here are the detailed engineering design plan, the cover page, the vicinity map, the summary of quantities, the general notes, the straight line diagram, project marker, and other details. Requirements of bidding documents, instruction to bidders, general conditions of contract, special conditions of contract, bid data sheet, specifications, the DPWH Blue Book Volume 2 and 3, drawings, bill of quantities, and forms. The bid data sheet for contract ID 26FL0001. These are downloadable from the DPWH website or the PhilJobs website. The same with the special conditions of contract. The bill of quantities for the same contract ID. Minimum manpower requirement. Project manager must have handled infrastructure projects. Project engineer, DPWH accredited project engineer. Materials engineer, DPWH accredited materials engineer. General construction foreman must have handled similar projects. Safety and health officer must have undergone 40 hours basic construction safety and health training. Minimum equipment requirement. Backhoe with breaker, crawler crane, dump truck. Crawler crane required 1 unit. Dump truck, all models required 2 units. Low bed trailer truck, motorized road grader, vibratory roller, all required 1 number of units. Vibro hammer and water truck or pump required 1 unit. Next is the basic contract data for contract ID 26FL0033. Contract name, construction of multipurpose building, tourism building with ground improvement at Barangay Poblacion Norte, Barcelona, Sorsogon, with the coordinates of 12.8723 due north and 124.1392 due east. Contract locations, Barangay Poblacion Norte, Barcelona, Sorsogon. Approved budget for the contract is 9,800,000 pesos. Source of fund, DAA 2026. Contract duration is 181 calendar days. Predetermined and workable number of days is 35 calendar days. Cost of bidding documents is 10,000 pesos. Submission of bids scheduled on July 21, 2026 until 10 a.m. Opening of bids July 21, 2026, immediately after closing receipt of bids. Major category of work, PIC, WO, PLC. Project description, scope works, construction of a multipurpose tourism building and ground improvement works which includes a pickleball court. Objective, to enhance tourism development and improve community welfare in Barangay Poblacion Norte by providing a safe, accessible, and functional space for social, cultural, and recreational activities. Here are the geotagged photos. The application for the CNC or the environmental clearance. Detailed engineering design plan, cover page, the vicinity map, the perspective, the elevations, and other details for structural, electrical, and plumbing. Requirements of bidding documents, instruction to bidders, general conditions of contract, special conditions of contract, bid data sheet, specifications, the DPWH Blue Book Volume 2 and 3, drawings, bill of quantities, and forms. The bid data sheet for contract ID 26FL0033, these are all downloadable from the DPWH website or the PhilJobs website. The same with the special conditions of contract. Bill of quantities for the same contract ID. Minimum manpower requirement, project manager must have handled infrastructure projects. Project engineer, DPWH accredited project engineer. Materials engineer, DPWH accredited materials engineer. General construction foreman must have handled similar projects. Safety and health officer must have undergone 40 hours basic construction safety and health training. Minimum equipment requirement, dump truck, payloader, backhoe, low bed trailer truck, all required 1 number of units. Thank you.
Key points. Lowest calculated responsive bid will be used as the criteria for award. The amount of the advance payment is 15% of the total contract price to be made in lump sum. All progress payments shall first be charged against the advance payment until the latter has been fully exhausted at the option of the procuring entity. The contractor shall submit the program of work to the procuring entity within 10 days of delivery from the notice of award. For the submission and receipt of bids, we are following the two-envelope system, where the first envelope contains the eligibility documents and the technical requirements, and the second envelope contains the financial proposal. Bid validity is 120 calendar days from the date of the opening of bids. For the sealing and marking of bids, one envelope for the original technical and another envelope for the original financial. And the two envelopes shall be included in one mother envelope with marked original bid. Each envelope shall contain the name of the contract to be bid, name and address of the bidder, recipient bank or procuring entity, and the do not open before the date or time of opening of bids. Same goes to the copy 1. One envelope for the copy 1 technical and another for financial, and both two envelopes must be included in one mother envelope. Each envelope shall contain the name of the contract to be bid, name and address of the bidder, recipient bank or procuring entity, and the bark do not open before date or time of opening of bids. Both the original bid and the copy 1 bid must be placed in one mother envelope. Each envelope shall contain the name of the contract to be bid, name and address of the bidder, recipient bank or procuring entity, and the mark do not open before date or time of opening of bids. For the unsealed and unmarked bid, the not compressed and password protected, not accepted. The improperly sealed and marked and password protected is accepted. For the modification of bids, before the deadline of submission of bids, bidder shall not be allowed to retrieve its original bid, submit new bid equally sealed, properly identified, linked to its original bid and marked as a modification. For the withdrawal of bids, submit letter of withdrawal must be received prior to the deadline of submission and receipt of bids. For bids withdrawn within the interval between the deadline and expiration of the bid validity, the bid security shall be forfeited. For the electronic bid submission, bidders shall send another bid equally secured, properly identified, and labeled as a modification of the one previously submitted. The time indicated in the latest bid receipt page generated shall be the official time of submission. So we have two modes of submission and receipt of bids. First, through the manual submission to the Back Secretariat Office, DPWH Sorsogon 2nd DEO, Barangay Poblacion Sorsogon, or through electronic submission at electronic bids_sorsogon2 at dpwh.gov.ph. For the eligibility criteria, the following persons or entities shall be allowed to participate in the bidding of infrastructure projects: duly licensed Filipino citizens or sole proprietorships, partnerships duly organized under the laws of the Philippines, and or which at least 60% of the interest belongs to the citizens of the Philippines, corporations duly organized under the laws of the Philippines and of which at least 60% of the outstanding capital stock belongs to the citizens of the Philippines, cooperatives duly organized under the laws of the Philippines, or persons or entities forming themselves into a joint venture per section 52.4.2.1 of the RA 12009. Foreign bidders may be eligible to participate in the procurement of infrastructure projects when provided for under any treaty or international or executive agreement as provided in Section 4 of the IRR of RA 12009, must have a valid pickup license, must have an SLCC that is similar to the contract to be bid of at least 50% of the ABC. The SLCC shall be supported by an owner's certificate of final acceptance issued by the project owner other than the contractor, or a final rating of at least satisfactory in the CPES, or a similar performance and monitoring system. Contractors under small a and small b categories without similar experience provided the cost of contract to be bid is not more than the ARCC of their registration and must have an NFCC at least equal to ABC to be bid. For the eligibility and technical documents to be submitted by the bidders, stated in invitation to bid, contractors or applicants who wish to participate in this bidding must be in the document request list of the PhilJEP's website and secure a printout copy showing that they are included in the list and are encouraged to enroll in the DPWH Civil Works application at the DPWH Procurement Service, 5th floor, DPWH Building, Bonifacio Drive, Port Area, Manila, while those already enrolled shall keep their records current and updated. The contractor's eligibility to bid on the project will be determined using the DPWH Contractor Profile Eligibility Process or CPEP and subject to further post-qualification. If registered in the DPWH CWA, here are the documents: pickup license and registration in case of joint venture, statement of all its ongoing government and private contracts, statement of bidders SLCC, computation of net financial contracting capacity or NFCC, valid joint venture agreement if applicable. If not registered in the DPWH CWA, PhilJEP Certificate of Registration Platinum Membership, pickup license and registration in case of joint venture, statement of all its ongoing government and private contracts, statement of bidders SLCC, computation of net financial contracting capacity, and the valid joint venture agreement if applicable. The mandatory requirements: first, the bid security, validity is 120 calendar days, cash or manager's check or bank draft or guarantee, 2% of ABC, surety bond, callable on demand, 5% of ABC, bid securing declaration are kindly use the updated form under RA 12009, and the project requirements, organizational chart for the contract to be bid, list of contractors' key personnel, list of contractors' major equipment units, owned list under purchase agreement. Latest General Information Sheet or GIS reflecting the beneficial ownership information duly received by the Securities and Exchange Commission for Corporations and ISO 9001:2015 certification or its latest version as applicable. And the Omnibus Sworn Statement duly notarized, and kindly use also the updated form per RA 12009. For the legal eligibility requirements, Class A, submission of BIR receipt for renewal of tax clearance will not suffice in lieu of a valid tax clearance requirement. Submission of provisionary tax clearance issued by the BIR for bidding purposes is not acceptable form of tax clearance per GPPB Resolution Number 01-2014. For the statement of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid, and the statement shall include all information required in the bidding documents. Any misdeclaration or false information provided shall be grounds for disqualification. For the new form, here is the updated form of the bid securing declaration per RA 12009 and the Omnibus Sworn Statement. For the second envelope, which is the financial proposal, bid form, summary of bid prices in the bill of quantities, detailed estimates including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of materials, labor, and equipment, cash flow by quarter or month and payment schedule, other documents required in the bidding documents. So here is the financial proposal checklist. So for the detailed evaluation of bids, the purpose is to determine the lowest calculated bid by establishing correct calculated prices of bids and ranking calculated total bid prices from lowest to highest. The method is a non-discretionary criterion shall be used which shall include consideration of completeness of bids and minor arithmetical correctness. Results shall be contained in the abstract of bids. In case of discrepancies, bid prices in figures versus bid price in words, the bid price in words shall prevail. Total price per item versus unit price for the item times quantity, the unit price for the item times quantity shall prevail. stated total price versus actual sum of prices of component items, the actual sum of prices of component items shall prevail. Unit cost in the detailed estimate versus unit cost in the bill of quantities, unit cost in the bill of quantities shall prevail. For the no contact rule, prohibition on communication with bidders from bid evaluation until award of contract. For the post-qualification, the purpose is to determine whether the LCB complies with and is responsive to all requirements and conditions as specified in the bidding documents to be declared the lowest calculated and responsive bid. The method is a non-discretionary pass or fail criterion, shall be used to verify, validate, and ascertain all statements and documents submitted by the LCB. For the key personnel verification, if a proposed key technical personnel is an employee of the bidder and working on another project at the time of the bidding, the bidder shall submit a certification that first, the personnel will be pulled out from the ongoing project once the bidder is awarded a contract, and second, he or she will be replaced with another person with equal or better qualifications as certified by the head of the implementing office. For the equipment verification, also to be verified during post-qualification is the set of equipments pledged by the bidder. The bidder should specify in the submitted bid the location of the equipment where they can be inspected, and if any piece of equipment is not in the specified location, then the bidder shall be post-disqualified. The common reasons for bidders' disqualification: first, late submission of bids without valid reason, and second, submission of patently insufficient bid due to submission of an expired certificate of field jobs registration, failure to include certificate of employment, contract agreement among permanent personnel and staff of the firm, and curriculum vitae, failure to submit required bid form, and submission of incomplete, insufficient, or defective documents due to non-inclusion and or omission of mandatory provisions and statements for the required bid forms. Submission of the bid form, bid securing declaration, and omnibus sworn statement and joint venture agreement without the name, legal capacity, and signature of the bidder or its authorized representative, and nomination of key personnel of a profession different from what is required by the bidding documents, failure to submit the required certification of key personnel as per DO number 9 series of 2012, failure to comply with the required minimum number of key personnel and equipment, and failure to submit proof of ownership, lease, or purchase agreement of pledged equipment, insufficient NFCC, and insufficient SLCC.
So may mga questions pa po? So since we have no more matter